The Hero Series 6 Attack of the Bootlegs as of this week is now out there. The first installment in the Hero Series franchise since 2017 and 2018's Hero Series 5. This is a brief additional reflective report in a way, going over the creation of the Hero Series 6 and how it came to be, and also a little on what's coming next, no doubt. This video isn't scripted, but I have a good idea of what I'm going to say, so I hope it goes well. Let's start by thinking back to what state we were in before this year. Hero Series 5 was the most recent installment in the Hero series, and it was the first episodic series since Hero Series 1, because they're a mix of feature films and summer series. After recording the penultimate episode of Hero Series 5, I went about working on the finale straight away. It was the end of the selected arc, which began in 2015's Hero Series 4, that was about 2 years prior. But the episode had a very troubled development. Only a few scenes were filmed, and then the entire series went on hiatus for about 8 or 9 months. If you speed forward to the latter half of 2018, actually approaching the end, I recorded some additional footage in December and ultimately decided to make a narrated sort of recreation of what the finale for the Hero Series 5 would be. Many of the figures I'd either taken apart again, or they'd moved to the conservatory or the garage. And Insecticus, the figure for Insecticus I didn't have anymore, because I'd absolutely taken them apart. So the finale of the Hero Series 5 wasn't workable, but I didn't want to leave it as like a loose thread, so I used the footage that I already had and made the finale of Hero Series 5 Genesis, which is the one that you see on the YouTube channel. So it explains what would have happened in the episode and provides more than enough footage that I actually had. It isn't that hard to wrap your head around, but I wasn't that happy with it. I wanted to continue on from Hero Series 5 straight away, so I came up with a few ideas for what I would do if I ever wanted to continue and make a Hero Series 6. And very soon after, in very early 2019, I made Hero Series 6. It was a feature. It was about 12 minutes long, called Hero Series 6 Escape the Asylum. It starred Next 2.0 that had never been on screen before, and one or two other characters. It was terrible. I disowned it as soon as it was completed. I made it in about a day. I took one or two behind the scenes pictures as well. It was lazy. What I wanted was something to move on from the troubled development Hero Series 5 had, and I just made it way worse. There was no heart in Escape the Asylum, and I really didn't like it, so I put it up on YouTube and took it down pretty much the same day. It's still there, but it's private. And I decanonized it, and I don't consider it a legitimate installment. And actually, Hero Series 6 was so bad, it killed the franchise. And that was where things remained for the next 6 years. Nothing happened for the rest of 2019, or 20, or 21, 22, all through lockdown. And then, in December 2023, I decided to make an upload on this channel again, going over the Hero Factory prototype images from a leak that occurred within a year. I'm not sure of the full background, but it was a very interesting discussion topic, so I went through it, and the video was very well received. It was through the comments of that I got in contact with another LEGO YouTuber, Krazapar, and it immediately became clear that the building skill that this person had with mocks, their understanding of Bionicle lore, was remarkable. It was absolutely fantastic. And not only that, he was an actual avid watcher of the Hero series. He watched and understood the ramblings of when I was young, to the attempted lore of Hero Series 5, to the actual successful concluded lore of Hero Series 5. He was an actual viewer, understander, and enjoyer of the Hero series, and that was something that I'd never experienced before. So we got talking, and he demonstrated his mock building capability fairly quickly by remaking Insecticus. And at the time, when I hadn't even said the name for like half a decade, that was incredible. He made a one-to-one recreation of classic Insecticus from Hero Series 1 and the end of 5. I absolutely loved it. He asked me a bunch of questions like, what would your favourite hero helmet be? What would your favourite hero build be? And from that, he made my hypothetical perfect hero as well, who you can see on the screen. Kraz would end up, throughout this year, rebuilding all of the mocks from Hero Series 5, the Silver Centurion from an episode that wasn't even discovered until part of the way through this year. And I think now, I've got a picture of his shelf. If I have permission to use the image, I'll show you. He has everything. He's even rebuilt the extended universe Hero Series character Reaper, who wasn't even featured in a Hero Series feature. He was in like one or two videos that I'd made and now unlisted, and he was able to recreate him perfectly. It was around this time that I began unearthing ideas that I had for potentially continuing the Hero series. If you want to be a bit brash, you could say that as early as January this year, a continuation was all but confirmed. The terrible archived, locked Hero Series Instagram had a few synopsis for continuations of the Hero Series if I ever did want to revisit them. And one of them is Hero Series Attack of the Bootlegs, because in the hiatus between recording some of the finale to Hero Series 5 and the rest of it, and providing the audio narration for the recreation, I went on holiday and found bootleg Hero Factory figures, and picked up a few. And it was the first time I'd seen Hero Factory figures on a shelf since the line was discontinued, so it was mind-blowing to me. And I bought a few of them and I thought, okay, I was still in the Hero Series making mindset at the time. I would have been 13 or 14, so I said, okay, these bootleg guys have got to meet the actual Hero Factory figures. And I was going to come up with a whole reason. Insecticus probably still existed in my house at the time, so they might have been involved. But all of that went on hold. Again, Hero Series 6 escaped the asylum. I just completely turned me off making the Hero Series. But all of a sudden, now, in December, there's someone who's actually interested in the Hero Series. They've actually rebuilt Insecticus over in America. And that alone was fantastic. And they basically just fed me a bunch of support and really good ideas. So I revisited these old synopses and these old ideas for future installments. And in the end, I would end up finding a lot of Hero Series lost media throughout the year as well, like the old Hero Series timeline document from the alternate timeline, because a lot of it is wrong. I wrote that when I was like 11 or 12 or whatever, or even younger than that. I also found the old Hero Series website and unearthed the Bulk vs. Thunder miniseries, which I didn't even know existed. And I found that more and more I was getting back into the headspace where I could actually properly recreate a Hero Series 6 that was worthy of the name. I was set pretty much straight away on making the Hero Series Attack of the Bootlegs as Hero Series 6, because within the year I was packing up things for university, and part of that involved moving the bootleg Hero Factory figures from my room into the garage, so I knew I had them. And I also boxed all of my Hero Factory figures up and put them around the same place, so I knew where everything was. Pretty much straight away, the idea was there, even from earlier this year. I had it in me to create Hero Series 6 Attack of the Bootlegs. It just needed like a little push, so it wasn't until sort of late summer that I came up with a fantastic idea on how to make a Hero Series, but not include Insecticus, that I then thought, okay, I'm going to film this. Because Insecticus was my mock, it was my character, I couldn't recreate them now, I just don't have the pieces for it. But this guy across the world just totally inspired me to make this installment. It wouldn't have Insecticus in it, so I need like a villain to be in their place. And that's when I come up with the idea for Relicore, the brother of Insecticus, because I still have a Thornrack's head, I still have the weapon and everything, so I'll just make it so that these bootleg figures are sent to Earth or sent to the house by Relicore to try and create an axis of power so that Relicore can return and avenge his brother. And just such a simple idea, it works so well, so I went for it. And filming for the Hero Series 6 took place between September 1st and September 10th. Episode 6 I knew was going to be completely different, we'll get to that, but the filming for Episode 6 took place a few weeks later, on September 11th or something like that. So the stage was set. By September I had a fantastic idea, I knew what the plot was going to be, I knew it was going to be episodic rather than a feature film. That was a very late decision. It was going to be a movie, but then I thought, like, I just prefer having the Hero Series be an actual series. Looking back now on the run times of the episodes in Attack of the Bootlegs, they're all about 3 minutes each, so they're better to watch together. So if I ever did make a Hero Series 7, it would be a feature film again. And actually, thinking of it, I'm surprised I never put all of the Hero Series 5 episodes together into a film. I suppose with the recreation finale that would be a little odd, but anyway. September 1st, I have my camera. It's better than the one that I used for Hero Series 1, 2, and 3, but it's the same one I recorded Hero Series 5 on. So I have everything set up and ready, but the camera, it won't focus. It's old. It's really bizarre. It's like it wouldn't focus unless I went over to photo mode, took a picture of the still first when I wanted to begin recording, then flipped back to the video, and then it would be in focus and I could start recording. It made everything a pain, and so much so that I recorded like a few scenes with that and then gave up. I bought a tripod for my phone, and decided to record it then. So it's the first installment of the Hero series not to be recorded with an actual camera. Using a phone, it meant that I could record it in 4K. So yes, Hero series Attack of the Bootlegs is natively 4K, but the file type TS that the Google Pixel that I have records on, it doesn't open in Sony Vegas Pro 13, which is what I would be editing Attack of the Bootlegs with. So I had to go through Handbrake and change the video codec, and I had to change it to 1080p 30 frames a second. So not only downgrading the quality from 4K, but changing it so that it has half of the frames as when I recorded it. Because I record it in 4K 4K 60 frames a second, and yet when I edit it, it's 30. So that gives it sort of an old Hero series look, because the frame rate isn't always exactly right. I know it's like a very minor nitpick, but it's true. Once I rush ordered a phone tripod, I was able to record episodes 1, 2, 3 and 4 all overnight, basically, in just a few days, and then I dedicated an entire day to getting episode 5, Shades of Fear, done. I knew it would be the only episode with Relicore actually in it, and it was the morning of that day that I actually built Relicore. I went down to the conservatory and I have a box of like a few pieces that I've got left from figures that I can't recreate, like Voltix, like Thornrax, like Stringer 4.0 and some of the 5.0s. So I basically just I build Relicore. I follow my heart, I see what pieces are there, and I build them within like half an hour. They have the piece structure of a 2.0, but they don't have proper feet. So like Insecticus 1.0 didn't have proper feet, or Insecticus in Hero Series 1 didn't have proper feet. And then I gave him one spike on one side of the arm. I was going to find another one to make him a bit more symmetrical, but then like the one spike look, it just is suited. I knew he wasn't going to have any eyes. I knew that. Everything else, like the little Waspix hands and everything, it works. You know, because lore-wise, he is the brother of Insecticus. Insecticus was built for combat, and Relicore was built for strategy. So he wouldn't have hands that are like weapons or built for using weapons. So the little flimsy Waspix ones that are still relatively imposing and scary, they were perfect. So the design for Relicore was by far the easiest part of probably Hero Series 6's entire production. This is a good point to note that Sony Vegas Pro 13 is what I recorded Hero Series 5 on as well. It's the same computer, same program, same everything. So it was really nice to get back into it as well. I wanted to have one episode that showed the aftermath of what Relicore was doing. Because in episode 4, Breeze sends out a pod. Originally that was just a throwaway line, but in the end it was a bit of a blessing in disguise, because a new year at uni is starting. So I thought, okay, I'll bring one or two of my figures to university and record a bit in my room and call it a faraway planet deep in space. And that ends up becoming Syndron. So we can actually see, like, although Relicore is defeated, although the bootlegs are very likely to deactivate or disassemble soon, Breeze still sent out this pod. They're not ever going to get the message to come home, so what are they doing? And they go over, it's Next 2.0, a completed Rocker 4 for the first time. We've only seen Rocker 4 once before, and that was in the 3 Rockers, and they were thrown out and all sorts of stuff. That was a very time-travel-y episode. That was a long time ago. And there's also a reprogrammed meltdown that can break the fourth wall, because, right, two things, okay? Heroes mention and name drop other Hero Series installments. They break the fourth wall. It's like intrinsic with the other installments. And when I tried to make an actual genuine lore, it was very annoying, because I didn't know why they were able to tell that they were in Hero Series 3, for example. So I made it so that before the war that separates Hero Series 3 and 4, they were able to break the fourth wall. And reprogramming heroes and villains isn't unnatural to the series. We've seen Surge be reprogrammed in Hero Series 4, and now at the end of 6, we have a reprogrammed meltdown that can break the fourth wall once again. It just works. Basically, episode 6 was just a bit of a fan thing, just because I had a lot of figures that had never been in an installment before. Next to all of that, they hadn't actually been on screen. Next was in the other Hero Series 6 from before Escape the Asylum, but I don't even like talking about that. And then, obviously, rounding off with Dragon Bolt. Just a bunch of figures that have never been on screen before that I was able to finally use deep in space, so if I ever need to return to the Hero Series, that's a plot. There's this group of figures, I've got them with me, they're in a far-off planet, can do whatever I want. But that's far from all, because Kraz, who I was speaking to that inspired me to do this entire thing, they're very good at voice acting, and they wanted to be a part of the Hero Series. Now think about where we are, okay? Hero Series 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all entirely me. I do all of the voices, the music if there is any, the editing and everything, the titles and all of that. When I was a kid and when I was growing up, it was all me. But for this return, we were going all out. So Kraz, I had to. Right, okay, Kraz did the voice of Hunter, the bootleg Evo 2.0, and Relicor himself, the main villain.
Oh yeah, no, I already heard all about that guy. He little unorganized, wasn't he?
Until I know more about you, you can call me Evo.
But I didn't want to give away that Relicor was the brother of Insecticus or the main villain of the series. I didn't even want to tell him the name Relicor, so it was a complete surprise when the episode came out. So I had to give Relicor lines that didn't mention Insecticus, that didn't say his name, and I also had to give Hunter, who's the second in command, lines that were ambiguous and that could probably fit anywhere, so we didn't have any inkling of the story, and yet he featured so heavily in it, and ended up working totally fine. And now, if I ever do a Hero Series 7 and Relicor returns, I can just, you can give lines, you can name drop Insecticus and all that. It's just building it up was a bit, it was fun, but it was also a bit difficult. So Hero Series 6 marks the first time that I'm not the only one taking part. There was also the voice of Kraz, and he's doing two characters, which was fantastic. But there was something else. Earlier this year as well, when I was sort of getting into making videos again on the Hero Series official channel, I got the attention of Lawrescape, and he made me. But that's far from all. Back in December, when I was starting to make videos on the Hero Series official channel again, I caught the attention of Lawrescape, who is an absolutely fantastic Lego series creator. He does a lot of videos on the lore. He does a lot of his own universe stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. And he wanted me to do a few lines for him. Back in March or May or something like that. So I helped him out on two videos, and they did very well. Welcome to the LNN Science News Hour. Tonight, a retrospective on one of our most devastating global crises in recent memory. And now that Hero Series 6 comes along, even though it's like half a year later, I shot him an email. Do you want to voice a character? Give you a few lines? He said yeah. And that was so nice of him because he's so busy. But he was able to give me 2 or 3 lines for Stormer, Stormer 2.5.
Hey! You can't be here!
Whoa!
Yeah! You better get out of here!
So we have 2 additional voices now. We have Kraz and Lawrescape that helped us out with Hero Series 6. And that was brilliant because these are 2 people that I actually watch and genuinely enjoy. They're helping me out. So it was just really good. And then, of course, during the editing phase, there was another face that came on board. I wanted music. I wanted a proper theme. I didn't want a repeat of Hero Series 1 where I thought the music was no copyright and then it turned out to be a Danny Elfman song from Tales from the Crypt. I don't even know how that got in there. But I wanted an original song if possible. I wanted music that would set Hero Series 6 apart. And Kraz knew someone called Coco, the username Coco. And they make music, and they sent me a few of their songs along, and they gave me permission to use them. And I heard one straight away, and I thought, that's a fantastic theme. So Coco, along with some sound effects and ambient music from Pixabay, which is a non-copyright website genuinely, I was able to rustle up a wonderful soundtrack to this thing. So I'm in absolute awe that this became a 4-person job. You know, we've got Coco providing the music, Kraz and Lawrescape providing some voices, I record and edit it, and now it's all out there. It's just so refreshing and wonderful. It's miles bigger than any other Hero Series installment, and that's without even talking about the editing side of things. I don't want to get too much into it, because any work that I went through is stuff that I created for myself. But I had so many different takes and so many things. There was so many problems and folders while making this thing. It would have to be a little bit before I ever did another Hero Series, just so I don't have to go through this again right away. But my God, it was so much work. There were 2 main problems. The episode 1 that went out had a problem with the very first scene, which was a good sign. When the logo came up in the beginning, it jumped. And there was no reason for that. It was a rendering error. Might have been something from going from 60 frames a second to 30. I have no idea. but I was able to set that right. That took a bit longer because a lot of the raw footage for Hero Series 6 was actually deleted while I was editing it. I don't remember doing that, but I couldn't find it. So that was a bit of an issue. Obviously, it's sorted now. And the actual opening credits themselves were very fun to make. There was also when Relicore was actually appearing, the aspect ratio was wrong on the wavy vortex footage behind him. So I had to use track motion or whatever to zoom it in a little bit. And that was after the premiere for episode 5 was out and just days away. So it was just a minor change where I had to take that down, rework it, render it again, and then put it back up with about 60 hours to go until it was actually out in public. So I rewatched the episodes quite a lot after that just to double check and triple check and make sure it was all okay. And that's the story of the Hero Series 6. So both a massive and a short undertaking. Basically, actively looking for parts and a setup and a story and how to make this episodic began on the 12th anniversary of the Hero Series 1, August 20th, 2024. That's when I probably began thinking about it. And then a few days later on the train, I wrote some notes. They don't exactly translate one-to-one on what ended up happening, but it was around then that I thought, okay, I'm not going to make it a feature film anymore, I'm going to make it episodic. And then at the start of September, we were ready to go. Making a trailer as well, that was fine. There was nothing really of note there. Just make footage, make it clear that there aren't only 5 Hero Series anymore. That's been the case since I was 14, but not anymore. There is now a Hero Series 6, and it's wonderful and fantastic. And I think we managed to achieve that. I have an idea for Hero Series 7. I plan on making it at some point, but the last time I said that, nothing came of it. So I am going to try and start making up an idea. Maybe I'll repurpose an old plot, like Attack of the Bootlegs was. There's just something so bittersweet about an idea that I came up with while producing Hero Series 5 finally being its successor. I don't know, it's not really bittersweet, it's wonderful, really. But that's everything.